Welcome back to Water Watch, your weekly source for updates on water levels, snowpack, and drought conditions across the western United States. In today's video, we're covering the latest numbers for Lake Mead and Lake Powell, two of the West's most critical reservoirs, along with updates on the Great Salt Lake, regional drought, and snowpack trends heading into peak runoff season. Starting with Lake Mead, the reservoir is currently at 1,064 feet, which puts it 164 feet below full pool, and it's sitting at just 33% of capacity. Since hitting its high for the water year, Mead has dropped 4 feet. Whether or not that trend continues will depend heavily on how much water is released from Lake Powell in the coming weeks. With spring inflows starting soon, it's a critical period for Mead's short-term outlook. Upstream at Lake Powell, the reservoir is now at 3,558 feet, or 141 feet below full pool, and also at 32% full. Powell is currently at its lowest point of the water year, but that may be about to change. Snowmelt is beginning, and we should see Powell start to rise any day now as runoff makes its way through the upper Colorado River system. The big question is how much of that runoff actually materializes, and that depends on what's left of the snowpack. Over in Utah, the Great Salt Lake continues to show steady but slow improvement. The south arm is holding at 4,193.5 feet, and the north arm sits at 4,192.6 feet. Both have been rising gradually since December, and while levels remain well below historical averages, the trend is at least moving in the right direction. Now let's take a look at the drought situation across the West. Much of the Southwest remains in moderate to extreme drought, with the area around Lake Mead and southwestern Arizona still in exceptional drought, the most severe level. In Utah, conditions range from abnormally dry to moderate drought, while most of Northern California, Oregon, Idaho, and Colorado remain drought-free. In Washington, a recent expansion of moderate drought has been offset by strong April precipitation, which should start to improve conditions soon. Finally, let's talk snowpack, which is the key to what happens next for Powell, Mead, and many other western reservoirs. The upper Colorado River Basin snowpack, which feeds Lake Powell and eventually Lake Mead, is currently at 76% of the historical average for this time of year. Just 2 weeks ago, it was at 97%, but record warmth in late March and continued dry, warm weather into mid-April caused a sharp and early melt-off. The lower Colorado River snowpack is even lower, at just 43%, meaning very little runoff is expected from that region. On the other hand, the Great Salt Lake snowpack is at 90%, which should help continue its slow recovery through late spring. In summary, Lake Powell and Lake Mead remain critically low, and their futures will hinge on just how much spring runoff reaches the Colorado River system. The Great Salt Lake is improving, though slowly, and snowpack losses across much of the region are cause for concern, as the window for peak accumulation has now closed. That's all for this week's Water Watch. If you found this update helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest coverage on reservoir levels, snowpack, and drought across the West. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.